Hey guys, welcome aboard the Just Tai Ship, the Psy-Tai live stream, T-A-I, not T-H-I, like the food. Hopefully you're having a wonderful morning, evening, night, midnight special, whatever time this is coming at you. Take this energy now, we all in the same boat. We can start the conversation. Yes, guys, man, do you have brown skin? Do you have caramel skin? Do you have rich chocolate skin? Are you from the hood? Are you from the big old city? Skin don't probably even have to be darker complexion, but are you from the projects? Are you from the inner city or urban environment? Well, man, this is for you. This is for me. This is for me. This is for everyone out there. And what do I mean? What is this conversation about? This conversation is about being in the community of darker skinned people and dealing with the conversation when it comes to psychedelics, plant medicines, entheogens, the things that grow from the ground. And the stigmatism that's so harshly placed on it, and that has, strategically placed on it and kept there by ourselves. I want to say initially by the government. Initially by the government, we're going to dive into the crack epidemic and the drug policies and how they actually hurt more people than they're actually saving. Think of the DARE program. They used to visit your school. How many people in your class actually still went out and did drugs? They was like, oh, that's what they do? So, man, we're going to really just tie on all of this. Because of the stigmatism in the black community, these things, let's start off the bat, these plants are looked up as drugs such as like cocaine and crack and wet, which is liquid PCP for other people out there, but wet. And yeah, things like that. Heroin and all that, big H. All of these drugs that were killing their friends and family members in the 80s, in the early 90s, these were very much in use. You were either a crack dealer, a crack user, or your friend was on crack. So that's how it was. And so when they hear about these plant medicines and saying that people are experiencing so-called different realities and revealing different things about their own psyche and things like that, the first thing they say, man, you smoking crack? Man, you doing that? You sniffing that stuff? Like, that's the first initial reactions. And you probably had this reaction too. But now look where you are watching this channel. So imagine somebody that's still at like a zero point of understanding what any of this means. That's why and that's what's going on. That's what's really going on. So when you try to bring up, if you're that person that went out and had a psychedelic healing experience and you had a lot of traumas released from your insides and you now doing meditation practices, eating better, not saying the same things, not holding on to the same views of reality that you believe that you was holding on back then that wasn't benefiting you, and you like, hey family member, I did this and now look at me. Look how I am. Sometimes the first reaction of the black community is, who you think you are? Like, who you think you are? You ain't been through enough. You only 21, 22, 27, 18 sometimes, 20. You ain't figured nothing out. You ain't figure out the universe. Like, who you? So now you got these views on God that's not fitting what grandma talking about. And you got these views on the church that's not fitting even what your mom or dad has been teaching you your whole life. So when you bringing up these things, it's like, man, you on crack, you tripping out. I used to have friends like you back in the day, and man, they was wilding out. They was doing all types of crazy. They was part of all types of crazy parties, partying out. Man, you understand? I got out of that, and I don't want you to get into the same thing. So with that parent like cancel culture like attitude. Wait. Finish setting up iPad. Not now. Good thing I had this right here. with that cancel culture attitude of just canceling out something that doesn't make sense, canceling out something that in their reality is destructive without any more information than what they have from 20 years ago, as if they birthed a stupid child or somebody that's just run that makes no sense ever. Like, I don't like when you just the time. If you look at the life of a crackhead, and then you look at the life of someone that has participated in using psilocybin mushrooms to medicinally to improve their life. If you look at the difference, and like 5 years later, it is massively different. And there are studies going on saying people who are resistant to treatment, had treatment resistant depression, and they participated in a psilocybin mushroom session, their depression was relieved for with continuing up like changing habits and things, but it was relieved for about 8-9 months off of one session, like not diving back in, but just off one session. It was relieved for 6 to 8 months with the participants that they had. And then they had to some, I guess most of them didn't keep up most of their practices and things like that, or they probably went back in, because sometimes you have to go back in to clear stuff out once you cleared out some other layers. Like, you work with yourself, see what it presented to you, and then you go back in. Like that. So some people do it 1-2 times a year, 3 times a year. Some people do it once a week. Some people once a month. It all varies. It's all about your practice and how you're living your life and your responsibilities that you have to hold on to, and how fast what your journey is really entailing. But when it comes to being black in the community and trying to introduce psychedelics, it's just like that, because the Richard Nixon administration, when they put the drug policy and made all of this illegal, and not just illegal but Schedule 1, when something is Schedule 1 to someone who has not experienced living for themselves, put it like that right now, and experiencing that they're a sovereign being in themselves. The government, when they hear the government say something, it has such an impact on their mind that it now changes what they're going to say, and changes how they behave and how they act. So when they hear something Schedule 1, they like, I gotta stay away from it. If the government said that is bad, you better stay away from it. You be like, I don't know how you stop kidding yourself. Stay off them drugs, man. Stay off them drugs. You'll be a bum in the corner. You'll start selling. You'll become just a gangster, get shot. Like, you don't see people trapping shrooms like you see them trapping even cannabis. Or even cannabis is changing. They got stores and things. They can go in the store and get your cannabis. But like how they're still doing Xanax and pills, opioids and heroin and crack and things like that. People getting shot and dying and having all these crazy lifestyles build around that. But look at the people who are participating in psilocybin. They are CEOs. They are the people that probably would not talk about it because of stigmatism, but the kind-hearted guy in the neighborhood that's helping the program, works at the rec center, many different walks of life, that creative person in your life that just so upbeat. Check out the previous Psy Tai podcast where I talk about high-end people that are like high CEOs and things that change their names, but they want to get their story out there, so they talk to different news outlets and things like that. So I go over that a lot. But there are also a lot of people that there are a lot of people of black skin that are actually participating in psychedelic research and exploring their own consciousness in order to heal their own psyche. There are a lot of people who have Kundalini. You have, oh wow, it left my voice. It left my. He's the urban shaman, black urban shaman. If you type that in on YouTube, he'll come right up. He's awesome. He deals with the blue food toad medicine. and told medicine, and also high doses of psilocybin. And there are also a lot of other people that just won't say their name on the internet, but hey, I'm also one of them. I am a black skin psychonaut, a black skin psychedelic researcher, healer, star traveler, whatever name you want to put on it. And I wish to go out there and get more practices under my belt so I can really help and really do what I have to do for myself. And what I mean by that is like Reiki healing and things like that. I really want to, it's a Reiki healing class that's coming up. I'm really preparing for it. So, but another stigmatism, another reason, barrier of that has to be crossed as to why it's hard to talk about plant medicines is because of religion and the demonizing things that's not in that the Bible proposes demonic and things like that. So, you know, when we came over across on the slave ships, or just when some of us were captured from the Native Americans and things like that, we were given the religion of white Jesus. We were given this book, and we were said we have to be slaves because of what it said in the book. And it was pushed on us, and if for some reason we still, well, for some reason, for a whole lot of reasons that I believe we now have to get over, we still hold on to all these traumatizing belief systems. So we look for not just divinity outside of ourselves, but we look for healing outside of ourselves, and we don't believe that something that we can take ourselves can heal ourselves, even though we go to the doctors and take prescription pills in hopes of curing diseases and things like that. So it really baffles me how people just dismiss plant medicines. But that's why we're having this conversation right now, because it's something that's stopping, and religion is one of them. Religion is one of them. We're holding on to a religion that has not benefited us in ways of actually healing our minds and feeling fulfilled within ourselves, so that we can actually not feel like we're broken and that we're worthless and that everything is just messed up, it's just fucked up, things like that. That religion keeps you in that bubble of the world's messed up and there's nothing I can do about it. I just have to hope that something is going to happen. I have to pray that something is going to happen instead of taking charge for ourselves. And that's a big thing that when they hear people about psychedelics talk about, now I'm able to take charge over my life and things, and they get these different concepts of what's going on in reality and life. Like, it doesn't just make you atheist, like atheist term, like psychedelics don't just turn you into an atheist or things like that, but it changes you into, it makes you for me, it just have you have a whole, as a huger understanding than what religion gives you. Religion just gives you something that was written by somebody it seems as though had a psychedelic experience. That's a whole nother episode. But it's written in man's language and best as possible. And when you hear people that have psychedelic experiences, the one thing you hear them say is that I can't really put into words what I experienced. But then there are some that are able to, the practices that they do in here with the meditation and actually dealing with the shadow work and dealing with their shadow side, seeing the sides of themselves that think that they're worthless, that thinks that the world is worthless, or just thinks malice, or how not having you think from the heart and from the side of nature, but just having you think with your mind, and not just tying, not combining your mind with your heart, connecting those two circles and letting whatever come out. They're just thinking. But that's what happens. And then it just gets so caught up because nobody wants to disappoint. Nobody wants to disappoint someone who is willing to love them. But then when you look around and look at our community, the black community, it's a lot of unloving things going on. But it's being covered up and said that's just the way it is. Like, that's just how we are. This is the way that we build ourselves up to be. But yes, that's the way we build ourselves up to be. But now it's this thing that's allowing us to change and flip the whole script. You feel me? Just flip the whole script. We've been building ourselves up since slavery. So we've been building traumas, had all this pressure on us from since our slave ancestors. Okay, so yeah, we have been building ourselves up to this point. But now it's time to flip the script. It's time to really use the magic, really use what's in us to change us and the world around us in turn. Not change that, go trying to change everything on the outside, thinking it's going to relate to changing things on the inside. It's a whole nother story. It's a whole nother story. And we can't be scared off of people that have tried crack and things like that and say, well, it's in the same field. And then say, well, you see how now they talking in the air, walking down the street, or they just walking in random stores and just be talking to themselves and things like that, like schizophrenia and things like that. But schizophrenia is a splitting of the mind. Like schits means split. And like phrenia, I don't really have that right in my memory bank right now. But schizophrenia means the splitting of the mind. And if we are multidimensional beings, multidimensional creatures, whatever you want to call it, having a human experience, then that just means your mind is in all of those places experiencing it. But with these medicines, we're able to come to people are experiencing a wholeness, a oneness of bringing it all together. These other drugs like crack and cocaine and all, they have all these malice so-called spirits or energy we crave all this malice energy, so when you go it, your life gets destroyed. That's why the lifestyle and everything around it. But the people that participate in psilocybin and DMT research, if you look at their lifestyle, they're the most calmest, down to earth, outer space at the same time people that you'll ever meet. And you'll see that really what being down to earth really means. Being down to earth really means being way out there, way out there. It's really the same thing. Down is up and up is down. So when y'all say y'all getting high, y'all really getting down. So I take things that go made from Mother Nature that's right here, grow from the ground, go on the ground. So I go down so I can look up. Feel me? Just Tai. Just Tai. Just Tai. Just think about that, man. Just think about that. But I really, really, really want to start pushing the message out there, because I want to the legalizations that's going on in Iowa, Denver, and California when it comes to psilocybin containing mushrooms is going to help people open their eyes and open their hearts and open their minds to the narrative of the mushroom. So if y'all in the nearby NorCal area, hit me up. If y'all into like doing the ballots, or if y'all into trying to build a community based around this, so that we can go out and help people have these experiences. Even if we have to travel to Mexico to make it legal, but if we gotta wait until these things legal here in the States, like whatever we have to do. But when it is legal, I do wish to have programs set up, and so that people can actually come in and see for themselves, because words cannot suffice, or else you're just writing another Bible. But it's all about what language you're willing to use at that as well. But I really do want to put together centers and things like that. So let's all just start the conversation and go out there and just, hey, do what we got to do. So until next time, guys, let's stick together and say, guys, man, start the conversation. Thanks for tuning in. This has been awesome, awesome, awesome. And don't be scared. Don't be scared to talk. Time to smoke. Oh, yes, it is. Shout outs to Brad. But I'll see y'all in a bit. And remember, guys, we all tie. But do we really, Ty? Sometimes, I don't know, dude. Sometimes I really don't know. But Ty, always